Mark, it's great to see you.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm really pleased to interview you. I love your company. I love what you do. I love your product. I think it's got a great place in our industry. I like the way you keep pushing the technology. Start at the start. How did you fall into the industry? And you seem to be working with everybody, a lot of people. What's the story?
I'll try and shorten it down, but it's a really good story. I come from sales. I originally, before this, I was an estate agent. I used to own an estate agency.
Boo.
And
No, I did as well. That's what I say.
yeah. And a thankless task.
Yeah, of course.
But the regulations were changing with regards to the way rental properties could be costed, because some new rules were coming in. So I was looking for a way, whilst I owned the agency, I was looking for a way to gain a little bit more revenue. And one of the ways I was doing it was trying to do something different than everybody else. So I looked around the internet, as you do, and I found myself looking over at American estate agents, because they do something a bit different over there.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
And I found quite a few of them were using a system called Matterport. And at that time, because this is back in early 2017, the technology actually wasn't in the UK.
Okay.
It was primarily in the US, because it's a US company. And what I did was I contacted the UK arm, because they had a UK arm just starting up, inquired about it, sent for the equipment because I thought it was so good, taught myself how to use it, and then decided to inflict it on my existing clients, because I was convinced it was the next best thing that was ever going to happen, because it was so revolutionary at that point. But because of the way the UK estate agency market works, and the time that it was taking, and the reception that I was getting, it just didn't work.
I understand
for
that.
the industry. At the time.
Yeah.
It just wasn't cost effective. So one of my clients owned a holiday park on the East Coast, and I thought, I knew it had a use and a purpose somewhere, but I just couldn't find out where it was. So
you're a man on a mission, weren't you?
So I approached him and I showed it to him, and there was that momentary bit of silence that everybody has when they see it for the first time. And he said, "Yeah, do them all."
That was the same.
All of them.
Yeah.
He said, "You've just answered one of my prayers, which is, how do I market my holiday homes for rent when they're all full?"
Yeah, you solve a problem, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we did. And I floundered around trying to get to cost it out, because I didn't know how long it was going to take me. But I did that. And that suddenly switched me on to thinking, I think I might have found my market. So I then approached another holiday park in the east coast of Yorkshire about doing a holiday home. And he again said, "Absolutely, this is brilliant." And I did, the first lodge I ever did, brand new one, was a Prestige home seeker, Casa de Lusso, and it had just arrived. And he said, "Do that one." And I did it.
Nice one to start with.
Did that one. And obviously that client took that. And then shortly after that was the Cottingham Lawns and the Holiday Home Show, as it was then in Hull.
Yeah.
And I took that example to the show, and basically walked into the first holiday home manufacturer, which at the time was Beverley Park Homes, and talked to the marketing woman there, and her eyes lit up, because that company had just started. They only produced one lodge, which was earmarked for park, and after that it was disappearing. So they had no real record of the home. So what in effect I'd done is created a virtual twin, a virtual reality twin of a home that was going to a park and never to be seen again.
Very good.
And then I realised this is my market. Okay. And so I spent the next week approaching all the holiday home manufacturers and started the ball rolling. And bearing in mind, in 2017, nobody had seen the technology.
Of course, yeah.
No holiday home manufacturer had it. Nobody had seen it. No holiday park had seen it.
So was it a hard sell to try and show it to manufacturers and get them to take it on board, or once they saw it, they were in?
No. Once I explained how it worked, showed them how it worked, and they witnessed it for themselves, they suddenly realised that this was a game changer.
Sure.
Because before that time, before October 2017, the only time that anybody could walk around one of their homes was walking around
Physically,
one of their homes.
Yeah.
And as you're well aware, the cost for a manufacturer to transport a 50-foot twin lodge is colossal. And for a couple of £100, I'd just given them,
of course,
the best present they could ever had, and it just went on forever because they could keep it.
Yes, of course,
and they could keep on showing it, keep on sharing it with people.
It's a historical record, I suppose, as well.
100%, and that was the start of the story. And as you know now, I do 90% of the industry.
Of course. So leading me on to, obviously, I've seen it's fantastic. I really like it. And you do different industries, of course. But we'll go on to that. So if manufacturers, parks don't know about you, what's so good about it?
Basically, what I create is the next best thing to actually walking in a physical item. So it doesn't matter whether it's in situ on a park, whether it's in a factory, doesn't matter. If they want to be able to get a client to stand at the threshold of a front door of anywhere, then I'm able to make that possible.
Yeah.
And of course, by making that possible, what they're allowing to happen is for somebody to see something that they wouldn't either that they wouldn't get to see, or would have to travel to see, or just be enticed into seeing it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just not knowing anything about it.
Yeah, it makes it easier for them, doesn't it? The whole experience. So we just touched on it before. Other industries. Obviously, I am moving into the boat industry a little, and you showed me something, and it was amazing. You could hop on the boat and hop off it. It was just so. You do marinas, and what else do you do?
There is no particular industry, any space at all that the owner of that space, or whether it be a publicly owned space or a privately owned space, if they want somebody to experience it, we can do it.
Did you do a museum once?
I've done schools, museums, churches, crematoriums, boats, you name it. Okay. I've done it.
And what I like about what you offer and how you are is you're always looking at the next thing for the innovation. Is there any developments that you can see coming in the future, whether it's a year, 2 years' time?
The software that I'm using is the gold standard across the world for 3D virtual reality production. So it's the Google of the virtual reality world, if you like. There's no other company that's developed a system that touches it. So they are at the forefront. It's a huge organization, and it's the operators of the system have created tours of some really phenomenal space, some landmark spaces, you know. Okay. So, and of course, those spaces can be embedded on Google Earth. So I can see eventually where the world, in effect, will become accessible in 3D.
From your lounge? From your lounge,
yeah. As far as the technology development's concerned, Matterport are constantly developing it, constantly. The ability to do what we do now couldn't be produced 8 years ago when we started. Now I can do a space of any size, anywhere, whereas before it was always limited.
I particularly like, you did Stoneleigh show one. Yeah, didn't you? That was very clever.
I've done Stoneleigh now for the last 2 years, so the actual show, that was the first time that was ever done.
Was it? Yeah. It was very good, just to be able to walk around the show.
A virtual show, yeah. And if you saw it, for the owners of the show itself, it was perfect because what they have is a way of saying to their clients who are investing in exhibiting at their show, well, we'll make your show last for the year.
Yeah.
So it's great for them because instead of it being
And Jo was pleased, wasn't she?
a week event, it's now a year-long event.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, there's also, I'll try anything. I'll try and tour anything that I think is interesting. I'll try and do it.
You did say a crematorium, didn't you?
Crematorium, yeah. I don't know of another crematorium that's been done.
Right.
Canal boat. That canal boat that I did is the first canal boat that was ever done in that.
That was really good. Really liked it.
That was really cool.
So I always like to finish on a story. So give me one about Immersive Tours and what you've done.
So for me, I think one of the best stories is how what I create gives my clients a return on their investment. And I think all the time that they feel that happens, that for me is a success story. But to put that in context and perspective within our industry. So I created a tour for a well-known holiday home manufacturer, and they launched.
Are you giving names that way? Just
well, I don't want to.
Fair enough.
I don't want to give any preference to, but it's a well-known one.
Okay.
And I created, so the actual prototype for the home was created. It came out onto the yard, and that day it was dressed. So if you can imagine a home coming off the line, it goes off the line, goes into the yard, it gets dressed. And then the following day, so that's now 48 hours after, I go and create the tour. The following day, so we're now another 24 hours down the line, that tour is back with the manufacturer.
That's a good turnaround time, isn't it?
That day, that home is spread to every dealership in the country.
Oh, good.
24 hours after that, the first order comes in.
Very good.
For a home that nobody's seen and that only one exists, and that one that still exists is still in the yard. So for the sake of them paying me to go and do that tour, they've created a sale from nothing.
Yeah, it's certainly value for money, isn't it?
And so I'd challenge any manufacturer to tell me how any £1 of a marketing budget they've got could be spent any more wisely, which will give them such a quick return on their investment.
Yeah, I agree with you. And some of my groups certainly recommend you. So keep up the good work. And that's why you're growing, aren't you?
And
everybody uses it. Nearly everybody uses it.
It's a big symbiotic relationship.
Of course it is. And you're a great guy as well. Thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right, cheers.